All right, we are gonna do this cute tractor as part of my Country Life Watercoloring Book. All my pre-drawn outlines on watercolor paper. You can do it as a book or a bundle with my 24 color paint palette and these round tip brushes. I like to use my size 8 or 10 usually. You can do it as a book or a bundle with my 24 color paint palette and these round tip brushes. I like to use my size 8 or 10 usually. Sometimes my 12 if I'm wanting to cover bigger spaces, but today we will be mostly using size 10. So I think we're gonna have this be red. I think that's the traditional color for these. I love minimal. So if you want to do a background with like some grass and a sky, you can totally do that, but I think I'm gonna leave it mostly open, some little grass patches, but we're just gonna focus really on the tractor for today. So we have our brush, we have water, we have a paper towel. If you don't have a paper towel, I'd recommend going to get one, because when you're painting, it is very important to have one of these, especially with water control. It helps quite a bit. But let's start mixing our color. So we have this red right here, and if you want it to be like vibrant, you totally can have that. If you want it to be slightly more on the neutral side, we're gonna add the complementary, which is green. And, oh, I accidentally splashed the page. Let's pick those up. Scrub. Pick up. Good as new. Okay. So we have our red. I'm gonna grab some green. And I think that's really good. Okay. So if we want to, we could have like a more diluted version that will get further as our lighter color, and then we can come back in with the contrast afterwards. But yeah, we're kind of just gonna be filling, I'm gonna work this over here and then move this way. Just using the tip of your brush, filling in that space. They are working on a house outside, so you can hear the traco. I'm gonna make sure after this video that it's not interfering too much with the audio. If not, I will need to go move somewhere else. This little bit here. Lifting off any of the puddled areas. There we go. So once you have filled in all these sections with red, we can come back and add more color in, but as you can see, I'm not doing much else other than just filling it in with a flat wash through all of this. The only thing I want you to be aware of is this right here is silver, so don't do that red. This little circle on the top is also, so maybe just don't touch these top parts. And then the Farmall and A is white, so everywhere else you could do red. And these little sections here, you could either leave open or go over, because you can choose to make them white or to make them black. So if they're black, you can go right over it. If you want them to be white, then I would do my best to leave them open. Just doing little lines. If it's not perfect, that's okay. I think that looks pretty good. You can bring any excess water over and bring it across before it dries. Okay, now if there's any puddles in those sections, you can pull them up. Coming in with the very tip of your brush. If you need to get a smaller brush for this part, you totally can, or you can practice using light pressure to stay out of those lines. Okay, most of this is still red too, so you can kind of just cover it all, and if it's black or whatever, then we can come back and paint over it. But we're just laying down the foundation to the best that we can. It honestly looks really cute already. If you have the book, I want to know what outline you're most excited about. Which one can you relate to the most? If you have a book recommendation or a theme recommendation, leave it in my comments because I want to make books that I know that you will love. All right, we're about done with this red. I'm gonna do his seat. All right, I think we got the bulk of it. So now, it's this part. So now you can come back and do this. Just this little section. This cap right here. Cute. All right, there are some little red things I missed down here, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Right around the wheel. Awesome. So now we're gonna do a red again, but we're gonna have it be a darker version. So we're just gonna add a slightly more green to this one. And if it's even if that's not dark enough, then we could add maybe some black. Got some red. And I'm adding this third one down. I need to get my color code out so that I can be more specific. That was one of the pieces of advice I got from you guys of ways that could help in teaching, so I need to be better at that. I've made a little page that will go inside the paint palette, and as you can see, polyester blue, polyester blue and white, so I need to flip this around so that you guys can see it better. Something cool about the palette is it is magnet, so you can flip it around, and there we go. Now we have the colors lined up with this. Let me make sure you can see it. Awesome. Okay, so I grabbed the red and also this green, so the middle green. Just a little bit, getting it more. Okay, I think that looks good. If you have an older model of this and you're wanting a list of the colors, just email me and we can send you a PDF of this. All right, so just grabbing a little bit, making sure my brush isn't all the way, like I want to make sure it's not dripping. I have control of what's in it. If you're worried about it, then you can dab it on the paper towel and get rid of any water before you come over here. But we are just gonna go along this top right here, along that line. A little bit down here. Okay, and now that you have that, you're gonna clean your brush off, dab off any water, and use the tip of your brush to just barely pull that down. My brush has more water than I want, so I just dabbed it off some more. And I'm just cleaning up okay. And that's how you add some shadow. So we have that here because that's like a lip in the under the wheel. And now our main focus, as we move this way, we're gonna add some of this darker red to this little square, or this junction box here, just the front. And then we're gonna come in and do this bottom section. to where the line tells you. You could even come, it's kind of made where the shadows are, so it comes over this way and down. And then here as well. Okay, same thing, clean off your brush, dab any water, and this is where you can pull that up to where it's a little less of a huge shift, more gradual. You can do it again too, if that's like not enough gradient, then you can do it a third time, and that's how you get those pretty shadows. So this is like a big sphere, so I'm just kind of pulling these colors up and like that. Cleaning this up because I don't want that line there. There we go. Right here could be this darker or more vibrant red, and then this is a sphere as well, so you could come on the bottom and just do kind of the bottom third. Clean your brush off, dab it on the paper towel, and pull that up ever so slightly, and you can leave like a little bit of that first layer showing there. Bottom, this little square could just be straight darker because it's underneath, it's gonna be more shaded. And then same here. These things down here are gonna be a little darker. You can leave some, just like random parts, lighter, but I just added in some of that darker color. You could come in and do this whole thing and leave this circle lighter. So work around just like that. Okay, so for this little section here, we could do a little bit here on the bottom, and then just have it like a stroke, one stroke up, and then clean your brush off and smooth the edge. Just like that. So that it adds a little bit of dimension, but it's not like a specific shadow by any means. And then here, we could add right here, just bring that dark color along this bottom of the white line that we've made. And you could leave it like that, or you could do the same thing and smoothen the section. Something that I kind of want to do is this bottom section could be this darker red. So all the way across. Top section can be the lighter, and to go even further you could bring just a tiny line above and then smooth that section just like this. I think that looks cute. Okay, I'm gonna grab this and do a tiny spot here. Awesome. Okay, so the wheels on this, the middle section, the rims are red with black in them. So we could just do a section of this to make our lighter color, just add a little bit more water, and that can be our first layer. but we're only doing the inside like this. Don't go outside of it, but you can cover the whole thing. Okay, and then in here, this is actually kind of see-through to the grass, so this section up here is going to be left blank. Middle can be covered, just these 3 bigger ovals. So now that we have that, I think that looks so cute. We can focus on the wheels if this is dry. Just using black. And we're gonna have it be quite a bit more diluted for our first layer, because tires are not just straight black. They have some gray, they have some like reflection of the colors around them. Some dirt on them if you want, but I think I have a good, maybe add a little bit of this umber to the black. And that can be our base layer for the tires. And I'm adding a good amount of water, as you can see. And we're just gonna fill pretty much the entire thing minus the rims. Same thing over here. Cute. So while we let that dry, we're going to focus on this farmer. I think a light blue or like a gray blue shirt would be pretty cute. So I'm gonna get this sky blue and add it to our gray, kind of mix the two together up here and add water. So it's very diluted, and that will be our shirt color. Filling the whole thing in again as our first layer, and then we'll come back and add some more texture. picking up any excess water so that it dries flat. Then we can focus on the gray. Can just make a little tiny silver or gray spot right here. And we're gonna add it into this right here. That whole thing. Could add this as like a silver. If your wheels are dry, we could add this gray into the rims. And if you feel like I'm going too fast or skipping over things that you wish you could have more detail on, please tell me. I really, really want to create tutorials that are the most beneficial to you. Also know that if I'm going fast and you just need to catch up, you could always pause. We can meet back together when you're ready. Okay, I'm using this gray again and just kind of making an outer circle. It's very, very minimal. Using the same color, but because it's slightly more dry, it does add a little bit of a ledge. There we go. These right here are also gray. Okay, I'm gonna do his pants, and I kind of want to do them just like a darker blue. So we're gonna grab this ultramarine and add it in with the blue that we have. I need to Google how to say that. So we're just gonna say the top blue for now until I can figure out what that means, or how it sounds. But we have a darker blue, and we're gonna add a little bit of black in there. Nope, way too much black, so add some more blue in. And some water. And that's gonna be the shade of his pants. Okay, so you could do this, like this, or you could dab it over here until it gets most of the water out to where you have more control when you come over to actually paint. I think these colors complement each other really, really well. And I'm leaving a tiny bit of white in between the legs so that you see they are two different legs. And you see how mine is puddling? I'm just lifting that off very gently and putting it on my paper towel. Cute. So now we are going to add a little bit of black back into this brown, this umber black that we have already made. And this is when we can come into our tires and add that little bit of contrast. And it's kind of gonna be going, I have made little, there's more water, so I'm dabbing it off here. Little notches in the tires. So you're gonna fill those in like this. And then you could do even like a line like this in the middle. And then go in and clean your brush off and pull that from both sides to where it still shows that base layer, but it's giving a darker gradient in the tire. Same here, you could have it be, clean your brush off, because you do pick up some of that color. So if you notice that you're picking up more of the darker color than you would want, all you gotta do is go in and clean your brush. And we're going to just like do very light strokes along the edges here, and that is your wheel. Very cute. The front tire is not as detailed, so you could just do like a line on the outside like this that I have mapped out for you. A little bit on the edges all around, and then do the same thing, clean it up with the tip of your brush. Easy. Okay, so now we're gonna come in and add those black complements. We have some little areas that could be black. Actually, no, we're gonna do that last. We have a few more things. We're gonna do his hat, gray. Just filling it in flat first. This one's fun. Awesome. His boots we could make over here and add some umber in. Maybe grab a little bit of the blue. That we have so it's not so brown. Or like orange. And come in and do his shoes. Cute. We're gonna pull this black and do this wheel back here. There's a flat wash right there. And then we'll make his skin tone and hair, and the last thing we'll do is add in the blacks. If you want to, you could grab this brown gray that we've made and kind of come in this trailer. I want it to be black, but it's gonna have some reflection like we've talked about. So you could just fill it in, and then we'll come in with the darker blacks for the contrast at the end. Cute. Cute, cute. Okay, so for the skin tone, we have a really great base, the salmon color. We could put it up here by the gray, or you could just take the gray out and start a color here. I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna take the gray out because I don't want it to feel too gray. There we go. And you tell me what skin tones you want to see so that I can practice making them and then add it into the books. So we have this salmon. I'm gonna add a little bit of this brown in there, this umber, and a little bit of blue. And then we're gonna dilute that down with water. And I wanna make sure that I have a lot of control, so I'm dabbing excess onto my paper towel and then can come in and do his neck and face. See, even when I did that, I still puddled. So you can pull that up and either dab it on your paper towel, or you can come down to his hands and just use what you picked up over on his hands. So if you want to, right here, if you can see, this engine kind of comes up and over and then meets up over there, but it's really, really shaded in that area. So we have our dark red already right here. But if you wanted to add some more red back in and also your middle green again to neutralize, and then some black. Making it really, really dark. This could be a really good option for this section in here, and you could just fill it in. So I have right here, you see it. You see in the outline where that engine is. Just like that. There's even this part down here. Good. Gonna make this side really shaded as well with this darker red. Maybe bring that dark color under here and don't spread it. You could just leave it like that. Coming around here. And over, just leaving like that. I think that looks good. kind of brings it all together. If you want to do the bolts that darker red, you could do this. Awesome. Okay. This section here. Another thing, if you're wanting some shadows in the wheel, you could do a line around the middle or the outside like this, and clean that up the same way we have been, where you dab your brush off and use the tip of your brush to spread the excess of what you've just put, not going past that middle section, just like that. You can use it for the inner bolt here, and a really fine line on the front that I'm not even going to touch after that. And this inner section can just be like this straight darker color, just like this, and then we'll come in with black. Watercolor is all about layering, so we're doing little things. Usually I like to do with this stuff like a flat wash, and then come in with a second color and third color, kind of just covering that with a slightly darker. And now it's time for his hair and then for the blacks. So you could do brown over here. Add a little bit of that blue in. There we go. Dab off any excess, because that's such a small space. You're going to use the very tip of your brush and just do like little tiny strokes, leaving some white space to show that it's hair. And then that is done, and we are doing our black details, and then we'll be finished. So I'm gonna come in with this black. You can mix it with what you already have, or you could just pull straight from the tube. I like to have a mixing tray unless it's like stark black that we're wanting. So yeah, here we go. For this trailer, you can kind of just do, it's a lot of water. You can see how much came off there. You can lift that off, or you could just continue over. I'm just doing black as the shadow for this, with some areas being really dark. This rectangle can be darker. This pipe. And maybe the shadows in this thing. Okay. And this is where you're gonna clean your brush off. Same thing. And just pull that up. Just like that. And then that trailer is done, and we can move on to up here. We have this bar that he's using. We have the steering wheel. Using very light pressure. If you're wanting to grab a smaller brush, you can, or you could just practice stabilizing your wrist and doing very light pressure for these little details. This ball up here is going to be black. Can leave a little white spot in it. Let's see, is there any other black? I think a little bit more in the tires Like this here could be black. You could leave some white space though. There we go. Tiny bit in here. And then this right here is the back side of the tire on the other side. So I'm just gonna fill it in dark since it's really, really shaded right there. Just like that. Pull up any extra water. And I think maybe this little section will be black, but I think we're done. Oh, there's like a little line here. And we'll put some black there and down here to break it up a little. But other than that, I think this is so cute. You could leave it just like this, or if you wanted to grab like a middle green, it's mixing with the brown a little bit, but that's okay. Anywhere where you saw those like little grass patches, you could add in some green, and that's just using like little tiny strokes, light pressure, stabilizing your wrist on the counter. Just like this. And while it's still wet, you could just have it be plain like that, or you could clean your brush off, use the very tip and pull some of that color down, adding some fun consistency between the whole thing. And as you can see, I'm not like, I kind of like that this is a dry texture. Some of it's wet, but as you move down, it's more rough. And I love how that turned out. I hope you're proud of yours. And I'll see you next time as we do this longhorn cow.